It's me. Hi, I'm Rosie, and welcome to Sublime Swifties. This is my third episode, and today I have two Swifties who are a mother and daughter. It's my chosen family, KB, and her mom, Julie, who live near Boston. KB is a counselor who helps people every day with their problems, and she is also an amazing athlete. And Julie is a retired third grade teacher and a diehard Swiftie. My best friend, who is a half Swiftie, is also here with me. Hi, KB and Julie. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Hi, Rosie. Hi, Willow.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
First question: how did you become a Swiftie?
Well, you want to start, Karen? You want
Well,
me to start?
my mother actually introduced me to Taylor Swift. I didn't really know much about her, and my mom has been following her for a long time, and that's how I got to start listening to her music.
I re- I really became diehard probably this past year, but I think I was there at the beginning, way back in about the year 2007, maybe. I was watching the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting, and the announcers kept saying there's going to be this young new girl coming out here to sing. Wait till you see her. She's going to go far. And out came Taylor Swift. Nobody knew who she was at the time.
How
She,
old was she back then?
she was probably about, I'm guessing 17, 16. Their long blonde curly hair. I remember her vividly with this long white coat and a silver glittery guitar. And I didn't know who she was, but everybody kept talking about her, and she sang Silent Night. Um, and I thought, okay, she's okay. I mean, I didn't know anything about her. At that time, it was country. It was gonna be a new country star, and since then, of course, look where she is now, say 20 years later, and she went from country to rock, and she's world famous now, and here she was, this little girl in New York City playing Silent Night. That's how I first knew her and became aware of her. And then I'd hear about her over the years and then how she went from country to rock and her family moved to help her career and so on. And now she's just everywhere, even wearing her bracelets.
So, who is your first love, and what happened?
Oh boy.
Eh,
Well, should I name him? Should I say his name if he listens to this so he'll know?
I think he knows.
I think he knows, she says. Well, my first love, his name was Greg, and yes, and I met him in high school. And what happened? Geez, he and I were friends first, and for many years we were very friendly. We hung out together, and then um he started liking me, and I did not think the feeling was mutual. So then when he asked for me to be his girlfriend, I rejected him and I pushed him away. So he went off and married someone else and now has a family. So it didn't work out.
Hmm.
What about you, Mom?
Well, I grew up with 3 brothers, and they always had boys coming into the house and hanging out, and there was one neighborhood boy I liked, and, um, we would talk a lot. Um, it was in high school. It wasn't anything big. He did ask me to a prom, and I went, um, but then we went our separate ways. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think my
Um,
brother scared him off.
how did you get on the career path you are on now?
Caribbean?
You want me to start? Well, right now I am a licensed social worker and I serve families in the community doing in-home family therapy, but that was not the career path I thought I would take. When I was younger, I know I always wanted to be a teacher like my mom. And then I went a little right, maybe a little left, and I started getting interested in writing and art. So I thought I would become the writer and illustrator of children's stories. That did not work out. And after college, I started volunteering at Children's Hospital in Boston, and I was doing art projects with children and families at their bedside in their hospital room, and I loved it. So I decided to go back to school for my graduate degree in social work. And now I'm doing what I love and I'm helping other people using art and writing and therapeutic play. And that's that's where I'm at. That's my career now as a social worker.
And I knew at a very young age, like 3rd grade, I wanted to be a teacher. And that was it. Never changed my mind. My mother wanted me to be a nurse. No, no, I wanted to be a teacher. And I did become a teacher. My father was a teacher. I had 2 aunts that were teachers. It just ran in the family. So I knew at a very young age.
How do you feel you can relate to Taylor?
Carrie, you seem to be going first.
Sure. I was curious before we move on to the next question, Rosie, what do you think is on your career path?
Well, I personally want to be a lawyer. I know that it will probably change, but I mean, that's the plan I've had set out. Um,
It's great. What about you, Willow?
Um, I want to be a physicist because I like changing the atoms and machines.
Oh, wow. Mhm.
And so can you repeat the next question?
Oh,
how do you feel you can relate to Taylor?
Yeah, I relate to Taylor in the sense of giving, and I am in awe of how many charities she sponsors and all of the money that she gives to the less fortunate. And if I had all the money she did, I think I would do the same thing. But I do volunteer in the community and I serve dinner at a local homeless shelter. I do a lot of pro bono work with clients and in the spirit of Taylor, I feel like I am helping others by using my passion to help them make positive changes in their life.
and I think she is a role model to a lot of people being very young girls all the way up. Now even fathers are who never even knew her are becoming Swifties, and she appeals to all ages. I think she shows kindness, and as Kara said, giving. I just heard on the radio that um, she just donated a lot of money to the unfortunate Kansas City shooting that occurred. But every city that she goes to and has a concert, apparently she donates privately to homeless shelters and food banks in those cities. And I guess right now she's in Australia, and they said already she has given the money to their food bank, and that's really nice. I wish more people who had lots of money would do that too. Um, I think she uh, is just comes across as a nice person, and she is close to my three daughters' ages, and I could see her fitting right in with my family, and um, she seems full of manners. She's kind. I love the way she talks. Her vocabulary is amazing. I love to hear her new words that she says every day. Um, and I I think you hear those words in her songs, and then people at a young age are now learning new vocabulary. Yep, she seems to be very well-rounded.
When and how did you become a feminist?
Oh, I lost your sound.
I would say that started for me when I went to Simmons College, and it's an all women's institute, and they promote feminism. And I took a women's studies course, which was required as a freshman. And I learned all about women's liberation and how far it has come for women to get their voices heard. And I took part in a diversity committee rather, um, wherein we worked with other local schools and communities in Boston to, get the word out that women need to vote, women need to go for higher positions in the career in the employment world. It was women need to, have their rights heard when it comes to their bodies, and um it took on a whole new path. And I think that's when I started really really started becoming interested in the feminist movement, and um going from there. I may have been a feminist before then, but not maybe not recognize the word, because I grew up in a house of with 4 generations of women. I lived with my great grandmother, who lived to be 103, her daughter, my grandmother, and then my own mother. So at one point, I was in a house with 4 strong, empowering women, and I learned how important it is to just make your voice heard in the community. So thank you for that, Mom.
Well, and also you had 2 sisters too. We had a lot of females in the house. I went to college way back. I went to a big Boston public university. And believe it or not, when I started college, it was the fall of 1966. Girls were not allowed to wear pants. We had to wear dresses or skirts. This was not like a Christian type of school. This was a big public university. This was everywhere in the United States. Girls had to wear dresses or skirts. And I even remember one awful snowy day. We still had school, and I had to go to school and wished I could put pants on. No, we had to wear dresses and skirts. That was my freshman year. By the time I graduated 4 years later, everybody, girls and boys, were all wearing sweatshirts and jeans. In those 4 years that I went to college, so many things happened, not just in Boston, but in the United States, in the world. It was a big, big change. Girls could start wearing pants. They really pushed women's voting. There was a big war going on in Vietnam, and people in America, especially the young people, were against it. I went to my first protest. I even carried a sign. Everybody grew their hair long. You probably saw pictures of even boys and girls with long, long hair. That's the era of Woodstock. Music was everywhere. Everybody was pushing peace, love, no war. And women's lib became big. While I was in college, there was a big thing about why should women wear bras and men don't have to. And we'd have these bra burning ceremonies where you take off your bra and burn it just to say, hey, guys don't wear them. Why should we wear them? I mean, so many things changed then. And it was just an amazing time because I grew up in a very sheltered little household and community. And here I was in this big place. So many things were changing. But by the end of that time in college, like I said, it wasn't just my college, it was everywhere in the United States. Women were becoming powerful. Women were saying, if men can do this, women can do it. If men get paid this amount, women should get paid this amount. If men can wear pants, women can wear pants. And it was such a big, big change. And I think a lot of people like my age became women's libbers during that time and saw that we can do anything we can do that we want to do. And yes, we can still get married, we can still have children, but we can still have a big job. We can still make a good salary. We can still buy a house. We can still buy a car. We can still wear pants if we want to wear pants. And so that was a big change in my life. And I think of now connecting it to Taylor, who is really a businesswoman. She's making lots of money with her own career. And you wonder 20 years ago, would she be able to be where she is? You know, even outfits or songs or being a single woman. And yeah, that was a really big time in history, the women's lib movement. And of course, when I got married, I had all girls. So it was kind of interesting.
I just want to say something to that. Thank you for sharing all that, Mom. Really insightful. But what I was going to say is how inspiring Taylor is to young women. And I know she is a feminist, and these young girls do look up to her in all countries. I mean, she's in Australia right now, like no spare seats. You see
Right.
the where she's having her concerts, and there are just thousands and thousands of people that admire her and look up to her as a woman. And she is she is an enigma. She really is.
Or a mastermind. If Taylor was listening to us right now, what would you like to tell her?
Thank you.
I was just going to say I would thank her.
I like that she stays on a path where a lot of other female singers may dress more sexy, may put in lots of swear words in their songs, may dance weird. Taylor sort of walks a straight path, and she appeals to people of all ages, all ages. And I would say thank you and keep doing what you're doing.
I agree.
When was the last time you really felt uncomfortable and you leaned into that feeling instead of avoiding it, and it changed everything?
What a
Um,
question. Wow. I would have to say every day there are moments of discomfort and moments that I am scared and anxious and uncertain about the future. And with the help of the women in my life, with the help of my faith, I do lean in. And instead of avoiding, I'm able to flourish and I'm able to attain my goals. Um, I think a lot of it comes from experience and, growing up year after year, we get stronger and feel more empowered. And through, you know, adversity makes us stronger. I think we all face adversity in our lives, but without that persistence and that perseverance, and we without that, we wouldn't experience change, positive change. So I think we have to go after our goals and overcome our fears. And a lot of that is expressed in Taylor's music, which is interesting. She inspires me, and I think all women, to just keep fighting, to keep moving forward.
Well, I grew up shy, but I grew up in this house of 3 wild boys and a loving mother and father and grandmother always in the house. And then I got married and had my 3 daughters. And I was always surrounded with a lot of people. I took care of my mother. I took care of my husband. And in the last year or two, both of them have passed away. So, right now, at my old age, this is the first time I have ever lived alone. And yes, my 3 daughters have all asked me to come and live with them. But I said, I want to try this. I've never lived alone. I've always been with lots of people. So here I am. I'm living alone. And, I have to do things that I've never done before, but I'm doing them. And it's kind of interesting.
How are you channeling your extra Swifty energy into making the world a better place?
Oh. I lost you.
I'll reiterate what I said earlier, that I'm very involved in my community, and I used to have this fantasy that I needed to go away to California or Texas or Florida, or I needed to move out of Boston and I could save the world, by moving and pursuing this fantasy that uh, I could save everyone in another state or country. But circumstances led me to stay here in Boston, and I feel confident that I'm helping people in my local community, and I feel confident that I'm able to inspire other young athletes or um young triathletes. I in the sport that I love and that I'm passionate about. I love to encourage my clients to do their own writing and reading and artwork, and I think it's important for everyone to find their voice, and I like to think that I'm helping inspire them and influence them to choose their path, whatever is right for them.
Do you mind just repeating the question?
How are you channeling your extra Swifty energy into making the world a better place?
All right. Well, I think basically what I like about her and that I try to do is to show happiness um, and kindness to everyone. You never know when somebody's having a bad day, and we have to be kind to everyone. Um, she smiles a lot. She doesn't seem to have a bad attitude. She hides those feelings and she just brings a positiveness to everyone around her. I think just be nice to everyone.
Um, What do you think about Travis? Will they be an endgame? Why or why not?
I'm going to refer to my mom on that because I do not follow Taylor's love life. I know very little about Travis Kelce, so I'm leaving that question up to you, Mom.
I like this romance and I hope they end up together. I think they have I see a face. I think they have a lot of similarities in that they're both hard workers and they really like their families. They're both family people. Um, and they work hard and they just seem good. Right now, Taylor seems happy, and she was never really, for whatever reason, able to show her feelings with other past boyfriends. And whether it lasts or not, I think they're both having a really good time. And it certainly has helped the sport of football. Lots of people have started watching or going to football games and really getting into that. And a lot of daughters with their fathers are now talking about football. So that's another whole thing. I like them together.
What advice do you have for young Swifties like me?
Well, I suppose some advice I would give you is to find your passion and do whatever it takes to meet it and pursue it and make it happen. Make your dream happen. Because I do see a lot of Swifties who are inspired by Taylor's music and want to become an artist just like her. And they start with, whether it's guitar lessons or singing classes. And I don't know what it is for you, Willa, and you, Rosie, but whatever your dream is, I think you can make it happen. And I would give you the advice of just not giving up. If you want to be a physicist or if you want to be a lawyer, pursue it. If at first it doesn't work out and you fail, try again. Don't give up easily. That's my advice to you.
And mine goes back to what I said before. I think just be mannerful, use your manners, and be kind to everyone.
Great. Okay, now it's time for Sublime Swifties' signature last 3 questions. First, what is your favorite album and why?
Well, I like I told you before, I really didn't get into her till this past year, and I don't know every album. I just know certain songs. I do play her every day on my Alexa, but I couldn't tell you what albums these songs came from. So favorite album, I don't know.
That's okay. What about you, KB?
Well, my favorite song is from the album Folklore, and I do like that album because it tells a story and it was produced all the music on that album is my type of genre, which is folk and indie and pop. So I would have to say folklore.
What is your favorite song and why?
Well, I'll jump right in.
Yeah.
My favorite song is Exile, which is a collaborative project that she did with the lead singer of Bon Iver, and Bon Iver is likely my favorite band and always has been, and I think that when I first heard this song, that inspired me to look into more songs by Taylor Swift because I love the vocals and I love the back and forth. And I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but it's an exchange. It's about a failed relationship. And it does go back to the relationship I shared with you about my first love and how it failed, how there was poor communication, how one was trying to move ahead while one was falling short. There's a lot in that song that I can relate to. And I think I would have to say, like I said, that album and then that song, definitely my favorite.
My favorite song is Welcome to New York. I love the beginning of that. It's just so upbeat and catchy. Um, I have a grandson that's 4, and when we're playing Taylor Swift and that song comes on, he starts dancing and singing. He knows the song. Why does he know it? Because it's in the movie, what is it? Sweet Life of Pets? Life of Pets. Secret Life
Secret
of
Life of
Pets.
Pets.
I don't know the movie. Secret Life of Pets. He recognized the song from that movie. And they've watched the movie at home. But I just love the beat of that song. Welcome to New York.
What are the lyrics that most describe your life right now?
Wow. I don't know. I'll tell you what my favorite lyrics are. Um, I'm not sure if they describe my life, but I can definitely relate to them. And it does come from the song Exile. And there's a line that says, second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on broken branches. And I can relate to those in the different relationships I have in my life. And as I said earlier, this song speaks to me because it is about a failed relationship. And my mom taught me that in a partnership, there's always one person that feels strongly about the other person while the other one may be at a different point in that relationship, and that's why that partnership fails. So I think for me, in my experience, um as the song suggests, and if you're familiar with the song, Taylor sings over Justin, and it almost indicates that there's like, instead of a call and response where you're listening to someone and then you respond to what they say, they're singing over each other. And I think that's what I relate to most because love is so complicated and it takes a miracle to be at the same point and feel the same feelings with someone at the same time.
But when it does, it's beautiful.
So that's why I say second, third, and 100th chances. So you girls being young, you're going to have many chances to love and to receive love. For me, it's taken X amount of years to learn that you can give it and you can receive it at the same time. And it's like balancing on breaking branches. So it's a very hard thing to do.
And my favorite quote is never grow up. She has a song where she says, don't you ever grow up, just stay this little. And that's how I feel. I would love to package you two girls right now at this age and keep you forever. You're so cute. Little babies, my grandchildren, I'd love to just wrap them up and keep them where they are so they don't grow older. My three girls, it was interesting to see them grow up and where they are. But oftentimes we look back on photos of them when they were little and we're like, oh, I remember that. Why did you have to grow up? They were so cute. And I just really identify with that song.
All right, before we go, I know I've asked a lot of questions, but do you have any questions for me?
I do. I was wondering what inspired you to start a podcast like this one?
Well, I did ask a question about this earlier. How are you using your extra Swiftie energy to make the world a better place? I know that there is a lot of Swifties out there that also feel all this crazy passion, and I wanted to put mine into hearing about other people's passions and feelings about it.
Wow.
Well, I know you're a Swiftie. I'm wondering what it means. You introduced Willa as a half Swiftie. So what does that mean?
I like to think that I introduced Rosie because I was never fully a Swiftie, but I liked Taylor Swift way before she did. So I like to think that I introduced her.
Interesting. Now, what are you going to do with this podcast?
Well, I don't expect it to really go anywhere far, but I know that that maybe some Swifties will listen to this and it will just make them feel even just a bit better, and that means everything.
Nice. When did you first get interested in Taylor? When did you know about her?
Well, again, she introduced me.
I think you started going crazy about Taylor when Midnight came out. I think it was around that time.
I think it was actually when the Eras tour started, because then everybody knew about her.
When she got big this past couple years.
Check it out.
Is she big where you live? In Texas? Yeah.
And Mom in the background is just going to add hello.
Hi.
That when she was a teeny tiny baby, she would dance to Shake It Off and sing to it in the car seat in the back. And that made me so happy. She was such a good singer, and yeah, it was freaking adorable. So anyway, producer in the background says bye now.
Oh,
We have
You guys.
footage of that. I would love to see her dancing as an infant.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know. Baby pictures are so cute.
It was the first song she ever really sang. So, yeah.
Mine was "Shut Up and Dance with Me."
Oh, yeah.
Lewis.
I know that song.
Okay, KB and Julie, thank you so much for being on Sublime Swifties podcast. I'm really glad you came on to share your story. And to anyone listening, if you have ideas for how to make the world better, be fearless and do it.
Okay.
Good
Thanks for having
job,
us.
girls. And
You're
you have a
amazing.
very
You
good
two are amazing. You
speaking
inspire
voice.
me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hope to meet you.